Ladies and gentlemen, what is going on, boys and girls? Welcome back to the channel. As I lift this laptop, get my phone out from underneath. What is up? Baseball video, NBA video, both uploading right now. Had some trouble. I had to restart the uploads on them. Wi-Fi went out here, so I should have been up like an hour ago, but they're uploading now. If the volume is just weird or something, whether you're watching this live or on the replay, it's just because they're uploading and my laptop is working, so excuse the higher static, if you will. Let me get the... let's just get this YouTube little comment section because we are live right now, doing a little streamer. And I like the slate today. I like the 10-game slate. I have not looked into the 4-game slate much yet for MLB. I'm fine, though, at answering any NBA questions you have, any WNBA, any golf, with golf starting up tomorrow morning. Any questions that you have, I'm in for all of it. Yesterday in the MLB streets was a sweat. It was more than a sweat. Finished 6th in the qualifier for the $44 for the Fantasy Baseball World Championship. Hell yeah, Marquez and Frazier. What's going on, Tyler? I finished 6th in the... What was I saying? Yeah, in the Fantasy Baseball World Championship qualifier, 23rd in the $88, but I had upside. I mean, I lost by 10 in both of those from first, with Albert Pujols going late as sort of a hammer spot, and him going 0 for 5. If Albert Pujols scores 10 fantasy points, and I'm sure every single other person in the top 20 was saying the same thing about some player, but just having him as a hammer, every single at bat he got up there, he did absolutely nothing. But Albert Pujols, if he hits a home run, I win everything. It's a different day today for me by far. If he just does decent, win more money. And the thing that hurts the most is Gomez, or Gonzalez, what am I saying? Marwin Gonzalez from the Twins hits a home run, goes for 25 points, $200 less. Could have put him in there. Hindsight's 20/20, but things like that hurt when you do have a sweat going into it. Baseball, again, their payout structures stink. You go from potentially winning it all, the monies, to winning like $800, which isn't terrible for an $88 buy-in, but it's not great. Dan says, when playing 50-50 in any sport, is it better to play with a large player pool or smaller? Dan, you should just be playing with one lineup, in my opinion. If you're playing 50-50s in any sport, play one lineup. So very small player pool, just one lineup. That's it. Don't be having tons of different lineups in 50-50s because you're canceling out your own upside there. You're making it safer, so maybe you don't lose as much, but you're not winning as much, so it's not great. So I would just play one lineup. That's all I do for 50-50s. Hey, what's going on, Jeff? And what's up, Dan? Happy morning. Good morning. What's up, Sal? Won 500 last night. Finally, haha. Jeff, way to go. 500 bones? That's pretty good. That's really good. Nice job, Jeff. That's awesome. That's a difference maker right there. So yeah, yesterday was really good for MLB. Really good, and damn Albert Pujols. He's going to hit a home run today. I already know it. If he just hits one yesterday, or just hits anything yesterday, today would be really good. But what are you going to do? Middleton came through. Yeah, I love Middleton yesterday. And honestly, I probably am going to seem like I got too much right for Middleton. I just like the fact that he was priced low, and usually you're supposed to target guys because he's not going to continue, Chris Middleton, an all-star, to just go down in price. He's not going to hit, and if he does hit the 6K range, he should be 100% on. 7,400. Now he's 9,400 on this upcoming slate. It's too cheap. So yeah, I'm good to talk baseball. I'm good to talk NBA. I'm good to talk golf, WNBA, whatever people want to ask questions on. Overall strategy, like Dan asked a question about the 50-50 types of lineups. I'm good for. I'm open for everything. The baseball sheet is over my shoulder right now. I'm looking at it again. I apologize for the quality of sound if it sounds a little bit off, just because the 2 videos are uploading. My laptop is putting some work in right now, so it's a little exhausted, I bet. I probably will play the 4-game slate. I did what you said, so thanks. Yeah, Jeff, that's all you. No problem. I'm happy that you got value out of the content. That's what it's all about. And I'm happy that it worked out for you. You banked some $500. That's pretty good. So yeah, 10-game slate tonight in baseball. The MLB video or NBA video is also going up, so we can break that down if you want. I mean, I did. So 10-game slate. Look, Garrett Cole is $12,000. I don't remember the last time we saw that expensive of a pitcher. So it's a potential spot to try and get salary relief because there's a couple other pitchers who are Max Scherzer, $900 cheaper, and Jacob deGrom, $1,500 cheaper. Then, I mean, you have other options with Rich Hill. You can go down to your Cole Hamels. But I like Garrett Cole. I like him a lot. He's been getting unlucky this year, believe it or not, how good he's been. The differential between his ERA and SIERA is 1.02. That's a lot. That means he's getting unlucky. His ERA 3.56, but his SIERA 2.54. Strikeout percentage is just off the chain right now. He's going up against a team that, and we should get the whole matchup. We're gonna have to make this a little bit smaller here to fit everything in for the stat sheet. Wow, we're going to have to make it even smaller, 80%. Black this out because I am an Excel Nazi or Google Sheets Nazi. There we go. He's going up against a team today that just has no power, and they strike out a ton. We saw Justin Verlander just be dominant yesterday. Let me get a lineup up yesterday if people do want to see just how yesterday went for me and the sweat that I had staying up till 1:30 in the morning, hoping that Albert Pujols in his last at bat of the game would hit a home run and win me $96,000, but he did not hit that home run. But my God, was I waiting for just a bomb to go out of the ballpark. Let's see. History. So, I mean, it's the same lineup in each, but this is the lineup that I rolled out yesterday. Felt really good about it until Albert Pujols puts up a goose egg at the end. Sonny Gray was the nuts, and so was Verlander. Those were the guys that you had to get to. I went with the Yankee stack. Got to Sanchez, got to your Clint Frazier double dongs, and then Torres played well. So did Aaron Hicks at 11. So got the 4-man stack. Went 3-man Miami. I like going 3-man Miami stacks. They're just dirt cheap, and if one of them binks a home run, it's going to pay off. Brian Anderson binked that home run. Curtis Granderson, even though he lost in that bat with a pinch runner or something like that, got 9 points. Starlin Castro, 5, as much as you can ask for out of him because he's just been dreadful. And my one-off was Albert Pujols, and that just did not work out. 185.9 just did not work out. So, sorry, I meant playing in an entry of 100 or 10, only one lineup. Dan, what exactly do you mean by that? I'm not positive. Sorry, I meant playing in an entry of 100 or 10, only one lineup. I'm not positive what you mean by that for 50-50s. Is it better to play with a large pool or smaller? Oh, okay. So you're saying not with your player pool, a larger pool. For 50-50s, it's better to play with a larger pool because if you're playing in smaller pools, there's a better chance that there's a lot of good players in there. When you make it a larger pool, realistically, there's a certain amount of professionals in DFS, a certain amount of really good players, and a ton of casual, terrible players. When you play in a larger pool, you're getting exposure to more of those terrible players. Trying my first baseball today, so let's see how it goes. Highly appreciated. Yeah, Jeff, definitely. Just be smart with that bankroll. Baseball is a very variant sport. You are going to lose way, way more than you win. But when you win, you hopefully bink something. So yeah, it's a fail sport. Let me just think about this. Yeah, so Garrett Cole is still where I go at $12,000. I was talking about it. He's going up against a team that's going to strike out a ton, doesn't have much power, and he's a guy who's not giving up much hard hits. Not walking guys, not allowing people to get on base, and he's just striking out everybody. Now, he's $12,000, so I understand if you don't want to go there. It's very easy to get down to Scherzer or DeGrom because of that. I prefer Scherzer for a couple of reasons. I mean, this Washington lineup is just a little bit more intimidating to me, so that's why I would prefer Scherzer. Their win upside is a little bit better for me. Both pitching in a really good ballpark today. It's the same ballpark. They're facing each other. But the reason I like Scherzer more, barely, 1% less in walks, not giving as much home runs up. And just has a better K percentage. I mean, they're very close, has a better K percentage. And the reason I don't like DeGrom is he gives it up a little bit more. Or the reason I like Scherzer a little bit more is he gives it up a little bit more if you wanted to pick on him to lefties. And Michael Conforto still being out for this Mets. That's a big relief for Max Scherzer here. It's a pitcher's ballpark. He's going up against the Mets, who don't have as good of an ISO, just power. And part of that is because this is a different lineup or a different team than it was earlier in the year. But yeah, Scherzer at 11-1 I like more than DeGrom at 10-5. I think people might overreact to DeGrom getting lit up by the Marlins, who got to see him for a third time already this year. And yeah, he didn't pitch well there. So maybe that's your ownership pivot. But I think that's where I'm going. The high end, it's going to be Scherzer or Cole starting with a lot of my lineups. And then I probably get down to the lower end. I think there's two viable guys, or at least somewhat viable, in the 6K range. I think it's going to be in the same matchup, once again, Jose Urena against Detroit, or it's going to be Daniel Norris against Miami. Two teams that don't have a ton of pop in terms of power, and two teams that strike out a lot. Outside of that, you can't even pay me to get a guy below 6K. They're all dreadful. Two of them aren't even going to pitch more than 2 innings. In the 7K range, it's all terrible. CC Sabathia, I am more than fine stacking Baltimore today. People are going to be stacking the Yankees once again today, and they probably should be against Dan Straley, who can't even get into the 5th inning, can't strike a single guy out. Terrible strikeout percentage. And that makes sense, but I'm fine stacking Baltimore today. And if you don't stack Baltimore, probably go to Trey Mancini, because CC Sabathia has been pitiful. He's been so bad. His Sierra is 5.22 this year. He's giving up a ton of walks. He's giving up 2.23 home runs a game. The only guy who's giving up more, wait for it, the guy across from him, Dan Straley. So that's great. I mean, either side you want to stack is fine for me today. Between Baltimore and the Yankees, I mean, stack the same game. But Sabathia, hard hit percentage, highest on the slate pretty much. Ground ball percentage, terrible. Fly ball percentage, terrible. So he's giving up a ton of fly balls, and they're being hard hit. That's why you see those home runs. A couple other things to just point out. He's getting hammered from both sides of the plate. Lefties 0.222, 0.222, so 222, whatever you want to call it, from the left side power, and then the right side's even more, 0.23 pop from the right side. So not striking guys out at a clip of 17%. He's just been terrible. So Sabathia is a guy that I do want to target against today. And then Yanni Chirinos, he's going to be the long relief pitcher at 7,800. That's just too expensive for a long relief pitcher, in my opinion. So yeah, the 7K range, the below 6K range is not in play for me today. I do like Wnba. I do like Daniel Norris for salary relief in a matchup where both of the guys you're going up against in terms of the teams are pretty bad. And then you can take your stabs at the 8K range. Porcello is supposed to be more of a safe pitcher, especially with this matchup, but he's pitching in a ballpark that's not that safe. Sure, his opponent doesn't have a lot of pop, but the middle of that order has some pop for Toronto. But Porcello, just nothing special here. I mean, 4.8 ERA, same thing for Sierra, which you don't usually see. Walks are up, home runs are above average. He's not getting hit hard, which is surprising that his home runs are above average, but it's because he's giving up a lot of fly balls. He just doesn't strike guys out. So he's not a fantasy pitcher that I want to pay $8,200 for in a hitter-friendly ballpark. The most hitter-friendly ballpark on this slate. Maybe the only other one is Philadelphia, Citizens Bank Park. So Porcello is just to me as well. So really it's the upper tier and then fitting in one or two of those or finding a pick between Daniel Norris and Jose Urena that's standing out right now. Break out that early lineup, Willie20 says. I don't know what you mean. Do you mean like teams giving their starting lineups out earlier? I think that would be great. I can't even begin to attempt to build a lineup without a single starting lineup yet. Who is your top pitchers on short early slate, says Gregory Richardson. Yeah, I haven't looked into the short early slate yet. I might play it. It's so small, though. And it's a 4-game slate, so don't think that you have to force stacks in. I think stacking is great, but when there's only 8 teams playing, it's not as important to stack the smaller the slate because things just get so variant and there's only a lot fewer home runs to pull from. So if you're getting some mini stacks, 2-man stacks everywhere, and you're getting middle of the order guys and they're hitting home runs from a bunch of different games. Like 6 guys might hit home runs today, and that's it. And they might not be in any stacks, and that's why stacking on a small slate doesn't matter as much. One team, though, in the early slate can score 10, and you need them. I'm just saying it's not as important. So that's MLB talk. NBA talk is fine if people want to do it, but that's where I'm leaning early. I have not seen a single lineup, so I don't know what my salary options are in terms of what I can get to. But just where I'm leaning right now, I know $12,000 is a lot for Garrett Cole, so I think there's a chance I get away from that, but the win upside is just huge here. You can almost put him in for 4 points because his team is going up against Wnba today. I don't even know I haven't looked at totals. I don't like doing that early in the day. I don't want to be just swayed one way or another. I will look at Vegas totals eventually, but just not this early. Yeah, no problem, Gregory Richardson. I really don't know. I haven't built a stat sheet for the early slate. I'd probably do that right after this. So yeah, Cole, 12,000. It's just so much looking at it. I don't know what I'll be able to fit. But when you tell me yesterday, I pitched $6,700 Sonny Gray alongside. How much was Verlander yesterday? Was he 11.9? What was Verlander yesterday? 11.3. Okay, so that's a big difference actually now. $700 difference. So yeah, getting up to Cole, I would have to almost go Jose Urena. It would be the same thing as what yesterday was for the most part. But I mentioned it in the video. I'm more so interested in Daniel Norris than Urena because I like playing these Miami's guys because they're so cheap. Detroit guys are cheap as well, but the Miami guys are just so cheap. When we look into the ISOs, Daniel Norris gives it up to lefties, so my ability to get potentially some Miami bats in there against him would be nice. Any advice on how I can move up to bigger GPP contests and still be successful? I normally do a 3-entry max GPP on 118 and do well, regularly finishing in the top 10 or 5, and I have even, I guess there's supposed to be more there. Jamie, what's going on? So you're regularly finishing in top 10 or top 5. I would say track your bankroll and just start to play up a little bit more. I have even first on more than one occasion, but when I look at a 3-entry GPP with a larger player pool, my score wouldn't be as good. What do I need to do? You need to stay in the contest that you're playing. Play not only just the 3-max, play the single entries at that stakes and continue to build your bankroll if you think you're doing good at it. If you're playing well at that stakes and then you're not going to be playing well at the higher stakes, there's no reason to force it. You're not going to automatically just start playing better, building better lineups. Continue to play at those stakes, continue to play in those small entry fields. I like the 118 person, and then continue to find more tournaments in that range. You can play the quarter jukebox, max it out for $5, whatever you want to do. I would not move up yet. The advice, though, for moving up is to get better at those stakes, and that's a very broad statement. How do I get better? It's just a matter of continuing to do it, and a big part of that is not losing all of your money, so you actually have more days to play, and I think staying at those stakes is the way to go. I would also urge you to make an Excel spreadsheet and just track your bankroll, because saying that you regularly finish in the top 10 or top 5, I mean, that's a good thing, but what does regularly mean? If you're entering 20 contests, are you entering in the top 5 or top 10 of those times? Because I doubt it. I don't think you're finishing top 5 50% of the time. I'm not taking anything against you. That's just probably not plausible at all based on the actual statistics of doing that in a 118-person field. So I'd say track your bankroll, because if you've done it 3 times out of 20 entries, that's still pretty good in terms of the overall odds. You're doing it, like 5% of the time or somewhere around there. But I would just say, or even more than that, right? 15% of the time, something. So I would just say, make sure you're tracking your bankroll, because it's easy to like bank something once and think that you're a lot better in trying to go up in stakes, and I wouldn't do that. It's a big downside to a lot of people's games, including my own. If I win something, I'm more tempted to throw a couple of $555 entries in and try and bank something again, when really my odds of doing that have not gone up just because I've won. They're mutually exclusive. So I would just say continue to play at those odds, continue to build your bankroll, and once you feel confident in your lineups and you see them start to switch, you can go to lineup study, you can go to Fantasy Labs, whatever you want to do, and look at some pros' lineups, seeing how they're building stacks, how they're choosing their pitchers on certain nights, why their scores are that much higher. You're always going to have lower scores in the smaller contests. When there's only 118 people, it's very rare that you're going to have a ton of people's lineups popping off, because they're just not lower-owned guys. It's more chalkier, more cashier type builds. So the fact that you're seeing lower scores, that's how it's supposed to be, because there's just not many guys. There's only 100 guys who have lineups in there, and girls. So the fact that they're not popping off makes sense, as opposed to there being 20,000 people in the contest, and there's just so many more ways for lineups to score more points. 25 people watching this. What's up? What's good? I want to hear from everybody. Drop down in here. Let me know what's going on. One video uploaded. The other ones are still going up. 9:57 a.m. Perfect timing. I think we got a good slate. I think a lot of things look kind of clear today for me, at least early on. For pitchers, I'm going to just have to break down into those later on tonight. And then obviously getting the lineups for the bats is going to mean a lot. I imagine Yankees bats, and I haven't even looked at this. Let's see, have Yankees bats come up in price yet? I would guess a lot of money that they have. I mean, we already had yesterday Glaber at 5,100. So 3 Yankee guys yesterday, I believe, that were at 5K. I mean, you had Aaron Hicks. I mean, batting 4th, but he was so expensive. I don't think there's any. Oh, there is a Q today. It's $800 though. So yesterday it was 44. I don't want that. Let's just click on one of these and just see what the Yankees bats are today. I'm curious, because they're going to be very popular, I believe. Or once again, Jesus Christ. Gleyber Torres is now 5,300, and the red hot Gary Sanchez, 8 homers in 9 games, is now 5,500. That's tough to get to, especially when Brett Gardner, who's going to bat 8th today, if he even plays, is 4,800. Clint Frazier, 4,300. That's still nice. Clint Frazier double donging yesterday, though, so what is the chances that he does that again today? Probably slim, but 4,300, that's still nice. Yeah, it's really tough for me to like the Yankees with these pricing. I mean, how do you get to it? You probably don't have Romine in today like he was yesterday. Estrada might play today. 3,900 is some relief, but there's nobody. Kendry Morales, 3,500 if he plays, is some relief, but he's not a good player. Yeah, this is tough to get to a Yankees lineup. But the Baltimore side, what do we got there? Going up against Sabathia. Mancini's 5,100. That's fine. You're going to get a lot of cheap guys, and I like this. I like Baltimore being cheap against CC Sabathia, who's been absolutely pitiful. He can't strike guys out. So give me $3,300 Chris Davis if he's going to be in there. Give me Alberto at 36, or Riaz probably batting 5th at 36. I like Baltimore early. I don't know what the totals are looking like. Bang. What's up, Sal? What are your thoughts on RotoWire? I know you may have to skew your answer due to draft dashboard relationship, but want to know if you think it's worth it. I've never used RotoWire. Like, I'll tell you if I think sites are good. I've never used RotoWire. I've used Fantasy Labs. I think they have, like, a lot of optimizers, a lot of limitations. I think Fantasy Cruncher is the best out there right now in terms of just getting very specific. It's a lot more advanced. You have to know randomness. You have to know how to get your own levels of what's the word? I can't think of the word right now, but you have to know how to just have randomness and how to calculate that and make it work better for you to actually take advantage of it. I think Draft Dashboard is also good. It's a little bit more simpler to use, but it still is worth it. But if you want to get to that next level where you're spending a lot of money, Fantasy Cruncher is great. Fantasy Labs has a ton of great tools. They have so many tools on there. Their optimizer, though, is a little bit limiting. So I've never used RotoWire, though. I really don't even know what RotoWire is, to be honest with you. Good morning, Sal. Have a blessed day, bro. Thank you, Corey Cooper. You as well. Texas, Seattle stack. Yeah, I haven't really looked into any stacks. Wait, are those teams are playing today? Those teams aren't even playing. Oh, maybe the 4-game slate. Yeah, I don't know. Great advice. Thanks for answering. No problem, Jamie. Yeah, definitely. Keep it up. Okay, so those videos went up, so that's good. So now they're processing. So these videos should be up in like 10 minutes. Yeah, ask questions. Ask questions as you wish, as you please. I'm cool with answering anything. Let's look at some of these other pricing just as of right now. Like, this is my first time looking at pricing. The Yankees seem, although, again, in a great spot, so expensive. And they've gone off for 10-plus runs in the past 2 games, I believe, right? 10 and 11, yeah. Just looks so great. But I like Baltimore on the other end against Sabathia. That's a spot that I'm really interested in. Should I just predict the dong right now and just say that Mancini's going to hit a home run, if not 2, against Sabathia today? Because, God, I'm a Yankees fan, and it's pretty obvious that he can't get guys out. He can't not get hit hard. Fly balls that are being hit hard means home runs, and that's what Sabathia has been this year, and he can't get guys to swing and miss, so contact is coming. Colorado, as always, has some priced up guys. Wow, Blackman's 5,600. Jesus Christ. I think Bell's interesting for one-offs against John Gray because he is getting just hit up, or Pittsburgh for one-offs. Bell 5,500 though, that's a pretty expensive one-off for me. Melky Cabrera's interesting if he starts. Boston always expensive. Boston a little bit more reasonable, but I mean when you have just six guys, whatever it might be, 4,900 or above. Yeah, I'll look into the stacks later as the day goes on. Let me just look into how these videos that are uploading are. Bang. I believe this is the NBA one. 4,290. 10 subscribers away from 4,300. Yahtzee. So we did the NBA video for tomorrow already. So that would be 5/23. Picks, right? Yeah. It would also be Thursday. Bang. This is NBA, so we got cover boy Giannis. Go and get all your Giannis shares now. JK. Yeah, so any questions that anybody else still has, the videos are now up, so that's usually once or around the time that I'm going to get off the stream. So anything that you want to ask away. I have a pretty good, as good as I can have, early feel for the slate pitching-wise. Again, I just don't look into hitters this early. I really honestly don't care about hitting too much until later in the day when I understand most of the lineups, what they look like, and I understand the pricing. And I think that's how you really should take it. I mean, you can look early on at what the overall pricing is on a team like the Yankees today, priced up and whatnot, but you really can't do anything until you get a lineup out there, at least stacking-wise. Oh, all right, it's 10. A little later than I usually do this stuff, but that's all good. Got to get a haircut today. I'm going to do it all. Bang, DFS. Bang. So that video going to be up. And Adam, good to go. Damn, I can't believe 20 people are just still sitting in here watching me do this. Props. Direct message on Twitter from Dalton Turk. Check that in a second. My man. Did none of that just save? You gotta be kidding me. Come on now. Come on now. So how did people do last night? That's what I'm curious. How did you guys do last night in MLB, in NBA, the showdown slate? How did everybody do there? I keep getting DMs and stuff about people just banking or splitting some NBA contests, which is awesome. Me telling people that you're not going to win them is getting people fired up, and I guess they just want to start winning them. Shove it in my face. I like it. All right, save that. We should be good to go once that's good. We got a lineup. Reds lineup just is out. Have you ever thought about doing one-on-one DFS training like some of the real estate gurus do? Real estate gurus. One-on-one DFS training, like a coaching session, like we can do like an appear-in or a video like that. Yeah, I have, and I actually would be down for that. I don't know. Again, I've been waiting for people to try and help me, and I really should teach myself, but every time I try and teach myself, problems occur with a paid WordPress site or something like that. But I just need a system, and I guess there's probably some really easy booking systems online or just really an app. I would love to do that. I would love to teach DFS training by the hour or something like a consultant type thing. I'd have a ton of fun with that, and I think it would help people out. At the very least, it would be an investment that would make you realize how to build a bankroll. So that's kind of money going to money, really. Or money not going to money, but money being turned into future money, like an investment. So yeah, Jamie, that's a good idea. That's something that I have been thinking of. That's something that I want to do. I just need a way to kind of host it in terms of getting it scheduled. But I think that's smart. I know people have asked me before about lessons and things like that. Like, I don't give away lineups. I don't see the need to give away lineups. I don't see the benefit to give away lineups. But I do think that training people would make sense. This one's for MLB now, and then we're going to be Gucci. We're going to get out of here. Draftkings, Mlb Dfs. Today is Wednesday. Today is the 22nd, right? Yeah, probably 22. But yeah, Jamie, that's actually really good. I'm going to note that down right now, actually. So let's do... How many years have I been playing, Willie wants to know. Oh, I've been playing since high school, which for me is like 6-7 years. But in terms of like building spreadsheets, building my own projections, it's been like a year in terms of like how actually being detailed, studying other players, studying the Awesomos of the world on lineup studies, studying the Chipotle brothers, whoever it might be. It's been about a year since I've been doing that, maybe like 10 months. Building the spreadsheets and all that. So with NBA coming to an end and MLB seems like a losing prospect from my perspective, how are we surviving until NFL? Golf is a weekly benefit, of course. You think WNBA has enough stats? I mean, yeah. I think WNBA is the thing. Clearly, this is the biggest drought probably from June to middle of August till NBA or NFL preseason starts. But you still have Golf Weekly. That's 4 days a week. Clearly, it's only one payout day, so that's not great. But yeah, I think MLB is a fail sport from your perspective. That's true. I think MLB can be won, and I think it's very easy to win it because like only like 75%, 70% of the field isn't stacking, and that's the way that you're going to win long term. So there's a huge edge there, but the payout structures suck, and apparently they're starting to change that. At least Manny Laura, his podcast, that's what he says. They're starting to call people because they realize that their payout structures suck. So hopefully they're going to be changing. I'll be playing some MLB. It's definitely a different type of sport. There's a different type of skill set. You can't play cash. You can't have a confident... we're still here for Wednesday. You can't really have too much confidence in your cash lineups or your ability to generate, I guess, more consistent cashing or profits. It's more of a peak and valley, which isn't great. But yeah, WNBA. And there is enough stats out there. They're just hard to come by. And the thing that stinks, and it's kind of the same way for the beginning of really any season, I would say, like NBA as well, you're using last year's stats. And there's 12 teams in the WNBA, and you get, I don't know, you get a few of those games or a few of those teams trading players, few getting different coaches, new management, whatever it might be. And then obviously draft picks coming in. So how is that going to affect the rotation? Well, let me go read an article. It's really hard to find articles. Like, I can pull this up right now real quick. All right, so these videos are going to be uploading very shortly. But let me pull up the WNBA projections that I have been crafting. There's enough stats. Sal, doing NBA today. Chris Sullivan, yes, the game is tomorrow, but the NBA video is it is processing right now. Should be up, Chris, in about, 10 minutes tops. It might even be up right now. Let's see. It's up right now. So the NBA video, Chris Sullivan, you asked for it. You're about to get it. Let's monetize the video. Sal, why are you putting ads in your video? Because I just spent an hour and a half trying to make it and upload it and researching it. Why can't I get my $20 for this video? For the 10 seconds of waiting that you have to do. Chris Sullivan, 3. Hopefully this works. 2, 1. Published. There you go. Look at that. Perfect. But let me get up this WNBA projections. It's very similar to the NBA ones for me. But the thing that's an issue, and I'll share it with you because this is my concern, at least for like the first week or two of the season until we get some more data, and really it could just be a week when we start to see minutes and rotations. We get all the data from last year. You can get this on Basketball Reference. It's all good data. They have not just just normal shooting data. They have the advanced data. They have the pace of play for teams. We're still going to be building our target offense sheets. You can see I'm still trying to build that. But the issue that arises, and the NBA video is now live for those that are interested. The MLB video is also going to be live once I just click a button here. But for WNBA, the issue here is two things. Look, defense versus position, I have it all at 1, which just means league average, neutral, because I have to figure out a way to just kind of reflect that from last year. So that's not a big deal, though. That's not as big of a deal. The issue is minutes projections, right? We have minutes from last year, and I'm kind of mirroring those as of right now, just for now to have initial projections. But the issue is minutes projections, and the reason that it's an issue is look at these names. So everywhere that you see an NA is a new player in the league. So you have new players in the league, and let's just say here you get 1. And you have a ton of WNBA stars just injured this year, just leaving for maternity leave, whatever it might be. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then you get all these players. I don't know if this is just not pulling right. There's give or take like 20 to 25 NAs here, and some of them might be just names not pulling over correctly. So let's just say there's 20 new players in the league, right around there. So those players are going to clearly, some of them at least, impact the starting rotations, especially when you consider trades. So when I'm trying to learn how it's going to impact that, it's hard to find an article. So when I say news is hard to come by in the WNBA, and that's why you're going to gain an edge if you just stick up with it and you know the news, early in the season, it's almost impossible to find that news. Articles should be coming out hopefully today and tomorrow. Starting rotations, hopefully we get news on those. But just lost my train of thought. But that's the issue right now, is finding minutes projections. Jennifer says, Sal added you on Twitter, Justin DFS. Thank you, appreciate that. So yeah, Michael, that's where I would go with that. I think that there's a benefit to it. I think you can make a good amount of money. They have $10,000 prize pools to first. Sure, it's a 2-game slate, but finding the minutes for these people, finding their starting rotations will be the biggest thing. Once we have that, I have all the historical data. I have all the player data here from years. I have all the advanced stats here, right? So everything there in terms of stats is there for the taking on websites. It's just a matter of actually getting these minutes locked down, which is the biggest thing. I mean, if you could project the minutes for the NBA, WNBA, you're in a good spot. It's just tough for any sport at the beginning of the year. And when you factor in that these teams aren't going to release a bunch of news, there's not a ton of beat writers in the WNBA space compared to the NBA or just any other sport. It's just so difficult early in the season to really feel confident about things, which if you do feel confident and you are up on top of it, you can have a huge edge. But I will probably be playing more in-depth WNBA a week to 2 weeks into the year when I have an idea of rotations. I'm going to try and find as much research as I can, but that's about it. All right, both videos are, I believe, up. MLB, these videos should have been up like, I don't know, an hour and a half ago, but we just had some Wi-Fi issues and whatnot. So they're up. They're good to go. I believe so. Let's just double check. We're going to get to 4,300 subscribers today. That's pretty cool. We're potentially going to have an announcement by the end of the day that I'll put on Twitter. That could be pretty cool. Really cool, actually. I'm excited for that if it goes through. Waiting for some emails to get back to me. Yes, the videos are live. This is public. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. So this is WNBA. And I mean, you could be taking these projections, like screenshotting them right now if you want, but the end of the matter is I have this in as neutral, so that's going to change those. I have this in as just their minutes from last year. That's clearly going to change those. So yeah, I need to figure out just starting minutes and things of that nature. But that's what I'm at. I'm going to go get some food. I'm going to go chill. Peace out, gang. Peace out, peace out, peace out.